Hi guys, Sarah here with Selmond. Stick around today while I show you how I converted this ugly old fence picket into this cute pumpkin sign for my front porch.
All right, guys, for this project, which will be a pumpkin sign, which will be sitting out on my front porch, I will be using this old reclaimed fence board that I received from somebody who no longer needed it. They gave me 3 or 4 of them, and I decided fall would be the perfect time to put this to good use. So the first thing that I am going to do is I'm just going to use some of this Craftsmart acrylic paint. I think Craftsmart is Michael's. Yes, it's a Michael's brand. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this fence board with the orange Craftsmart paint, and I'm going to start that just as soon as I take this out in the garage and give it a light sanding.
Now that the board has received a light sanding just to knock off some of the grime and weathering, I'm going to go ahead and apply a liberal amount of paint directly to the board. And then I'm going to use an inexpensive stiff bristle brush to go ahead and apply the paint using only one coat. I'm not worried about getting a completely solid coverage. Some of the spaces in the texture of the wood won't be completely covered, and that is fine because when we're done, we are going to go back and we are going to sand this board down again to make it look like the orange paint has weathered along with the wood, and so that we have more of that natural wood showing through in the end of the painting process. Now, the brush that I'm using is a very inexpensive brush. I did pick it up 3 for $1 at the Dollar Tree, so I'm definitely not using a good brush on this process. And I'm just going to cover the front, the top, and the sides of this picket during the painting process. The only point that I'll be adding some paint into any of the texture is where it looks like there at the top and on the right hand side, where it looks like the saw blade, when they were disassembling the fence, has actually hit the picket itself. I'm just going ahead and adding a little bit of the orange paint in there, but that's really the only spot I'm too worried about it. And in the end of the process, you'll see there's still a nail head in this board. There's still a staple or 2 in this board, and that's perfectly okay because I'm not looking for something that looks new. I'm looking for something that looks like it has age to it, and it's definitely been a reclaimed piece.
All right, so here's the board. As you can see, I have it sanded down. I knocked off some of that really bright orange paint that I had on it, so it looks a lot more natural. And I am ready to move on to the next step, which is going to be placing my letters. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out the center point of the board in a couple spots here. The board is about 5.5 inches, so I'm going to go about 3 3/4 just down the middle. And what I'm using here is a chalk pencil. I don't know how well you can see that, but it is a chalk pencil. I don't remember where exactly I found it, but it came in a set of 6. Really good price. It was in some back to school things. So I'm just going to go down the board, mark off 3 3/4 inches. Or I'm sorry, 2 3/4 inches. Pay attention to what I mark, not what I say. Kind of get us just about down the center. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring this up and draw a very light line all the way down. Okay, now that's not perfect and it's very, very light, but what that's going to do is help me line up my letters when I lay out my stencil. Just to give me a center reference point, because I tend to get things off a little bit either to one side or the other, especially when I'm using homemade stencils, because they're not always cut exactly even all the way around. All right, so here I have my stencils, and I've just cut them out of some contact paper I picked up at the Dollar Tree. And what I'm going to start doing is just pulling out the center letters on each one, so that what is left is actually going to be the stencil. So when I get that done, I will be right back. Now that I have my stencils all laid out and centered down my sign, I'm going to move on to the next step. But before I paint the letters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over them with some Mod Podge. And here I'm using the dishwasher safe. You absolutely can use any kind of Mod Podge you had. I just grabbed the one that was already sitting out, which is the dishwasher safe that I absolutely love because it's waterproof after it cures. So I'm going to go in and I am going to put all the way around the letters a coating of Mod Podge. And what this does is help seal any imperfections in the wood so that your paint does not leak under your stencil. Whatever kind of stencil you're using, it doesn't matter. I mean, this is just cheap, cheap, shelf paper. I'm sorry, I'm losing the word. From Dollar Tree, but any kind, it doesn't matter how expensive it is that you buy, what type of stencil that you use. This does seal any, or help seal for the most part, any imperfections in the wood. And you just need a thin layer. You don't need it real thick. It'll dry fairly quickly, and then you can move on as soon as it dries clear. So I'm going to go ahead, move down, get all my little nooks and crannies, and then it will be time to paint. Now that the Mod Podge is dry, it is time to go ahead and add the paint. And for this, I'm using the Waverly chalk paint and plaster. No particular reason for this. It's just what I had and had plenty of because I did buy a larger bottle of this product. Right, and I'm just going to go in and paint. Over, and I'm trying not to get too thorough of a coverage. I want it to look a little bit older and worn, so I don't want a solid coverage, but I do want enough you can definitely see what the letters are. Okay, and you can still see the orange peeking through on this a little bit. All right, and now that I have this painted and I have just about the coverage I want, you can still see a little bit of the orange coming through, so it'll have that aged, worn look. We're just going to go ahead and peel off our stencils. And look at that, how nice and crisp those letters are coming out. Isn't that great? Absolutely love it. So here is the sign, and as you can see, it turned out so cute. I absolutely love it. As you can come up, you can see kind of the worn wood and just how the letters don't quite have the complete white coverage, and you can see the orange coming through underneath them. And this will be sitting out on our front porch as part of our front porch decor video that will be coming out soon. Let me know what you think of it, and I'll be back with a new video and hopefully less bronchitis very soon. Bye-bye.
If you liked this video, please be sure to hit that like button as well as share it with friends who may also enjoy it. If you like my channel, hit that subscribe button, and when the notification bell pops up, be sure you hit that as well so you never miss a video. And, as always, have a great day and stay crafty.